Case study number 2 is you are studying a bunch of companies and you are concerned that some companies might have a lot of, so you are running a portfolio with lots of companies and you are concerned that some of these companies maybe have too many off-balance sheet liabilities, obligations. So I'm again skipping some details, but let's say you run a screen and you figure out which one company, you identify this one company that has too many operating liabilities. Are those off balance sheet? Too many operating leases. Those are off balance sheet. So as an analyst, the key takeaway from this is, how do you adjust for that? This is level 1 and we did this in level 2. You treat, for analytical purposes, you treat an operating lease as a financial lease. Financial lease, also called capital lease in US GAAP terminology. How do you do that? You figure out the present value of all the cash flows and then use that amount to increase both the asset and liabilities. Okay, what will that, and that's one thing. The other thing you do is remove the rent expense from the income statement and replace with depreciation expense and interest expense. Once you do this adjustment, what will it do to leverage ratios? Improve or worsen? Yeah, so it will make the leverage ratios look worse. And what will it do to interest coverage? Yeah, both. In general, your ratios become worse when you go to a financial lease. But, and that we can go back and look at the reading on lease. But if you are to just take a simplistic one-line view, in general, with operating leases, the ratios are better. We are not going to get hung up in these numbers. I'm just going to show you very briefly that in the left column, these are the reported numbers for this particular case. So when you adjust, what are you doing? You are increasing, this is the asset values are going up. And what's happening to liabilities? Liabilities are also going up. Okay, and what this is showing is that long-term debt to long-term capital as reported is only 36.8%, but after adjustment, that ratio is looking much worse. Okay, and also on the earnings side for this particular case, the as reported earnings is this. In this particular case, as you add back the rent expense and so your EBIT in this particular case, the EBIT is going up, and we are then subtracting the interest expense. So your overall adjusted expense is this item, and the interest coverage ratio is coming down, which is worse. You've seen all this before, so I think the takeaway from this is just a quick recap of that reading on leases, which you've seen in level 1 and you've seen in level 2.